Now the next topic is amphibolic pathway. Now let us see. Glucose is the most favored substance for respiration. All carbohydrates after digestion they are usually converted into simple sugars, mainly the glucose. Other substrates they can also be respired, but then they do not enter the respiratory pathway in the first step. If the respiratory substrate is fat, after digestion it is converted into fatty acid and glycerol. Fats they will break down into fatty acid and glycerol. Then the fatty acids to be respired, अगर fatty acids का oxidation होना है, then they will be first converted into these fatty acids. They are first converted into acetyl coenzyme A and then they will enter the Krebs cycle. जबकि जो ग्लिसरॉल बना है, this glycerol can enter into the respiratory pathway after being converted into 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde or dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which are the isomers, and they interconvert into each other. Yani fats, if they act as respiratory substrates or if they undergo complete oxidation, fats first of all they are converted into fatty acid and glycerol. Then fatty acid it gets converted into acetyl coenzyme A, only then it can undergo the complete oxidation process. और जो ग्लिसरॉल बना था, ग्लिसरॉल कहाँ से एंटर करेगी? ग्लिसरॉल it is converted into 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde और ग्लिसरल्डिहाइड 3-phosphate. ये हमने किया था ग्लाइकोलिसिस वाले प्रोसेस में कि डाईहाइड्रोक्सी एसीटोन फॉस्फेट एंड द ग्लिसरल्डी 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, these are the isomeric forms. Now the respiration it involves the breakdown of substrates. In case of proteins, the proteins they are first digested, they are converted into amino acids with the help of enzyme proteases, and then these proteins they undergo deamination. Deamination is removal of amino group depending upon their structure, and then they enter the this pathway at some stage. Means amino acids they are converted into the pyruvic acid. The amino acids they are converted into pyruvic acids and then they are completely oxidized. Glucose wala we have already seen. Carbohydrates they are converted into simple sugars. Mainly glucose. Glucose undergoes glycolysis and it releases 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acids they form acetyl coenzyme A and then this acetyl coenzyme A it enters the Krebs cycle and then glucose is completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water. This is the amphibolic pathway. Amphibolic pathway का क्या मतलब है कि respiration को हम क्या consider करते थे? It is a catabolic process. What is catabolic process or catabolism? In which a complex substance it breaks down into the simpler substances, then it is catabolism. And if the simpler substances they join to form a complex substance, that will become anabolism or anabolic process. Since the respiratory process, this oxidation of glucose we consider it as catabolic process. But the respiratory pathway for different substances means they when they have to be respired, जैसे ये फैट्स कन्वर्ट हुए फैटी एसिड और ग्लिसरॉल में, ये कहाँ पे पहले ये कन्वर्ट हुआ फैटी एसिड और ग्लिसरॉल किस में, एसिटाइल कोएंजाइम में और 3-फॉस्फोग्लिसरैल्डिहाइड में, एंड देन they were completely oxidized. But when organism needs to synthesize fatty acid, तो ये acetyl coenzyme जो है it will be withdrawn from the respiratory pathway and it will help in the process of synthesis of fatty acid. यानी कि fatty acids which were converted into acetyl coenzyme में, if the fats are required, then these acetyl coenzyme they will help in resynthesis of fatty acids. They will be withdrawn from this pathway. So synthesis of fatty acid is considered as anabolism. So this process, as it involves both anabolism and catabolism, it is considered as, the respiratory pathway is considered as amphibolic pathway. Amphibolic, in which both anabolism and catabolism takes place. So with this we are finished with the chapter respiration in plants.